I love our new intro. I even sometimes feel overwhelmed. Hi, and welcome everyone to Disruption Talks, yet another episode of our series where we invite top experts in order to discuss digital acceleration, winning strategies, innovation, scaling products. My name is David, and I will be hosting today's talk. And what an episode that will be! An episode during which we can touch all of these fields. So we can touch digital acceleration, winning strategies, innovation, scaling products. They have it all. It's all thanks to the guest that is here with me today. Dreaming of becoming a unicorn is one thing. Doing small steps in order to achieve it is another. Yet, publicly claiming that becoming a unicorn is your midterm goal, this is a thing that is reserved only to a few. Today, we have a professional who leads such a company with such a strong unicorn claim. Mateusz Godala, CEO of Displate, is here with me. Hello, Mateusz.
Hi, David. Hi, all. Thank you for inviting me here. It's a pleasure. And I also love your new intro. It's kind of like new Netflix blockbuster.
It's pretty strong, right? It's pretty strong. The first time I heard only audio, didn't see the video that it's ours. I thought that it's an intro to something, like a world changer. Pretty good. Kudos to our team. Mateusz, great having you here. How are you? How are things going on your side?
Oh, thank you. Quite well. The summer started. It's once again, it's beautiful in Poland. I recently appreciate how much sun it's affecting our lives. We're so complicated machines, but in the end, there is some level of like leaf psychology inside of us, and it's like, okay, the sun is on again, and we're happy.
It's pretty. I'm noting down immediately. It's pretty funny that you touched on the topic of complicated machines. I will jump back to that later on. But Mateusz, first things first, whenever we open your LinkedIn, whenever we received an email from you, there is a unicorn status loading bar there. How are things going? Where are we?
Okay, so okay, a lot of people is asking about that. And we created this statement when we were just after the investment from Meet Partner Europa, and it seemed to be like such an exciting goal, like to be unicorn and be like where we are aiming at. I think right now I'm not a big fan of it because it's not telling a story of who we are and where we're going, and you want to be pop culture collectible leader. So it's a little bit different. It's so much more engaging. But till now, we are over-delivering targets every year. So it's going quite well.
Yeah, I got a feeling because it's not a secret that we have already talked during our small talks. I had the feeling that it's now on your side, especially less about the numbers, more about the emotions and the values that the company brings. But still, if you could, to the audience, the ones that might not know Displate that well yet, maybe there are some numbers that you would like to share in order to give like a bigger picture where the company is at.
Okay, so we as a Displate, we are a marketplace that's connecting pop culture enthusiasts with brands and artists. And we have 40,000 artist community, active artist community who work adding new art every day. We have 1.5 million designs. We have 160 brands. We have almost 50 countries we ship to. We are a very eco-friendly product, so we already planted 17 million trees. And what is more is important, we decorated almost 2.5 million houses around the world. And let me give 1 minute. And this is our product. So easy to mount, hassle-free metal art.
I must admit, it is also not a secret, as we've already talked. I've shown you that I own a Displate, two Displates actually myself. the way
How
and
it's
how easy it is to mount it, that's a total game changer. Plus that it should not affect the wall that it's hanging on, that's a great thing. So the mounting is great. 1.5 million designs, as you claimed. That's a lot. Uh, Everything sounds great. So how was 2021 for Displate? What is 2022 looking like? What are your observations as for now? Maybe a little sneak peek into your plans for the upcoming year.
okay. So 21, we've seen that this COVID trend that was pushing whole e-commerce market ended, but overall it was quite a good year. And I think what is most important is that we started to build this talent-rich multinational organization, and we are recruited a lot of smart people, and especially in engineering and product teams, and it's really paying off right now. Like it required a lot of effort, but it's like it was a good investment. And 2022 is full of surprises, good and bad. It's certainly I think probably a lot of your listeners is feeling that this year is, you know, might be a little bit problematic. The inflation, the war. For us, for example, as an e-commerce, also the changes in advertising ecosystem that started last year, what Apple did to Facebook and cut them from data that messed with the whole Facebook advertising ecosystem. But now the Google announced new regulation, the government's announcing that. So yeah, overall, it will be interesting year, and few surprises are yet to come, I think. And yeah, we also see that the customer sentiment is changing. People see the war, the inflation, their mortgage rate, the crypto crash, market going down. So they're worried about their savings. So they're a little bit less pessimistic about their future. And yeah, but in the end, I think for some kind of companies, it's going to be quite hard. The Y Combinator, the Sequoia already sent their like famous memos. Okay, if you don't have cash now, it will be it will be super hard to just gather any cash. If you don't have market fit, it'll be super hard for you because the prospecting will be harder, etc., etc. But on the other hand, for companies that they have cash, they have the first-party databases that have like market fit, healthy unit economy. It might be like in terms of growth slower year. But on the other hand, it will make the market a little bit less competitive. All these companies, like zombie companies, might go out of business. And there is this famous statistic that startups founded or that went through the crisis are much stronger. So yeah, in the end, it's the next year might be super optimistic. I don't know yet. We'll see. It's a dynamic world now.
So let me touch only a little bit on something you have touched several times during what you just said. So the COVID crisis, was that for a displayed crisis at all? Why am I asking? Because whenever we think about COVID, on one side we think how bad many retailers, because of closing shopping malls, because of different restrictions, were hit hard. Then at the same time, there was a boom for everything connected with households. Anything do it yourself products, do it yourself markets, where during a huge boom, everybody wanted to take care properly of their household. Therefore, you saying that you have been introduced to 2.5 million households, how does that combine? Was that actually a good time for, let's say, business at Displate?
Yeah, certainly. We are maybe not winners, but like a little bit lucky here. It was helping. Certainly, it was helping, especially when all the offline retailers were closed. But I think it's natural cycle of business. It's like during COVID, the oil companies were going down and almost bankrupting, and now they're like have their margin and the EBITDA is like record high, and it's booming. So it's a natural life cycle of a business, and it's short term it's affecting you, long term like companies that are focused on building long term value are winning. So it's nice to catch opportunity, but no one should base business on that.
I totally agree with that. It's connected ecosystems. One benefit, one lose. Next year, it totally changes. Mateusz, maybe even before when we go even deeper into the company itself, maybe a little bit of your professional background. Let's say being involved heavily throughout the years in the marketing, ending up as the CEO. Tell us maybe a little bit about your story. What did you have to learn? What did you have to unlearn on the way? How did that change you?
Oh, so I started my career in performance marketing, and I think this, if someone wants to start within marketing, this is quite nice spot because I was able to immediately measure everything I was doing and just learn what I'm good at, where I suck, where I need to develop, like what is efficient, what not. It was a constant learning, and I started my career in K2 Search. So one of the best performance agencies then, like full of geeks, full of nerds, like people just focused on technology and numbers. And I started as a sales specialist. After some time, I got little, maybe not bored, but I felt there is so much more. So I learned web analytics, and I was actually one of the first few web analysts in Poland, and Google Analytics trainers. And the whole industry was like, I don't know, 8 guys. And we were meeting for bowling and beer, and that was the whole Polish web analytics industry. So funny times. After that, like the Google added this option to add JavaScript to accounts, so people could use JavaScript to optimize their own campaign. So I learned coding. Then I learned that like, okay, this is not enough, so I needed to learn copywriting and visual language. And this was going quite well, so I jumped to iProspect as a manager. So once again, the completely new set of tasks and challenges, and also the iProspect was a little bit different. It was part of the bigger group. So the campaigns there were focused on like a reach, on cooperation with hotel, like on engagement, different things, not so much on performance. So it was nice experience, but after sometimes I felt that this is interesting, but maybe these big players are not that innovative, not that aggressive or risk-taking as I would like to be. So I left, and I've been a consultant for startup for some time, for UXP and for Doc Planner, and I was doing a lot of SaaS software, online trainings and courses, a lot of finance stuff like mortgages or leasings or stuff like that, and it was perfect, like big money, like people oriented on goals, like lead scaling everywhere. But once again, after some times, I felt, oh, this is nice, but everything's so virtual, and untangible. It's just you cannot touch anything of that. We're going from office to office, like we're selling products, but like someone switch off the power and there's no product anymore. So then Ben Kuna from Tilco asked me to join them during lunch for like a few hours a week, then 20 hours a week, and very quickly it was a full-time job. And I was in Tilco from scratch to more than €1 million revenue monthly. And Tilco, if someone doesn't know, it's a Polish startup. They're doing high-end, very high-end customized furniture. They're selling it mostly to Germany, France, and UK. And believe me, it's not easy to sell a bookshelf for €1,000 to a guy in Germany from unknown Polish brand, and he can touch it.
Marketing.
or check reviews, but it was going quite well. But once again, after some times, I felt that everything I could give to the company or contribute was already there, and I was thinking maybe about opening my own startup, some business. But my friend from Displate told me that I should meet Karol, even if I'm not looking for a job. I should meet Karol because he's a cool guy, and he was leaving the company. And so I met Karol, and we had a very nice connection. So immediately they set up a meeting with the next founder, and 2 hours after the second meeting, I got a job offer, and it was just very cool guys, ambitious, but also just good people inside, smart. The product was wonderful. Once again, it was artsy, beautiful, something you can touch, and unique. It's quite important that it was unique, and so it's giving a lot of opportunity. It was D2C company, so doing everything from selling to contact with customers to manufacturing. A lot of markets, history of success. So I thought, okay, I can do these posters for 2 3 years, and then I will be back and do this business. It can wait. And I joined Displate. I took the first team. After 3 months, the next team designed, and after 3 months, brand and communication. Then I created the BI team. Then I created the loyalty team. Then there was a transaction with Meet Partner Europa. So we needed a new board. So I joined the board, and here I am. Never planned this.
That's usually the way it works out. Like the moment you least expect it, it comes your way. So as I actually have two questions that occurred to me during what you said. The first would be, let's start, let's say, simpler, with a simpler question. When it comes to your responsibilities, how do you see it? What is your main role? I think you gave us a sneak peek. If I read correctly between the words, it's you saying that it's, let's say, the focus, and
Mhm.
not getting too much into details, that you a little bit, I would say, consider your role, so focusing on the main part of the business. But if you could give us like a highlight of what your responsibilities are, how do you see it from your perspective?
So as a CEO has only two responsibilities: the success of the company and the happiness of people inside. In the end, and because the company, like D2C, like most of the time the companies focus on one point. So either it's like pre-sales, like manufacturers, like the sale moment, like retailers, or post-sale, like experience kind of companies. But D2C companies, they need to focus on every point, from the start to the end. So sometimes I'm working in a factory and checking out the new robot. The board is actually nudging me constantly when we will buy this Boston Dynamics robot, because they want to see it in the factory, like going with sandwiches and repacking things. Sometimes I'm dealing with artists or brands. Sometimes are designing a product, and sometimes I'm in contact with our clients. And I think because in this kind of companies like Tilco or Displate, because of the product and the vibe of the product, it's people coming are a little bit different. They're looking for something different. They're a little bit more artsy. The characteristic is a little bit different. So even like people in the performance team are, I think, a little bit less hard-headed and more creative. I remember once the performance team was looking for a new guy, and the guy was so excited, and he said during the initial talk, "Oh, you're so chilled, like you're so creative, it's so wonderful. I love the vibe," and it was so funny. And when he came during his first day, everyone in the team came in a suits, like with a tie, and they were like, "Hello, Mister." He's like, "You're onboarding the whole process. Now you can log. Now you can go here, but you cannot go there." And we're slowly seeing as the guy is panicking hour after hour. But
That's nice.
quite well. So it's a lot of things, but in the end, it's like the main thing is the company success, and it's just little bit like different vibe. I got a meeting recently with one of our partners, a very serious guy, very serious talk, and we were sitting in a conference room, and the guy said, "Oh, dinosaur," and it was like, "What?" And he was like, "A dinosaur." And there was someone running in big Tyrannosaurus Rex costume to the office.
I love it. I love it. So even a unicorn, I've had this startup spirit in my life, so I know what it feels like. Fantastic. That's the way. If, as you said, one of the two most important goals is having the proper atmosphere and taking care of the people, that's one hell of a way to do it properly. Uh, but it was how you ended was actually also a great intro to the second question that I mentioned before I had.
Mhm.
So, from my personal perspective, from my personal experience, when I was a little bit younger, when I was involved in a D2C company as well, I thought we were quite strong, I would say, in trying to be quite strong in performance marketing as well, I would say, trying to measure everything, trying to analyze. Obviously, there is a lot of space for improvement there, but I thought, okay, the answer is there in these numbers. There is some golden, key that will solve all of our problems and will make us a unicorn as well. And
Which
then,
one?
as I excuse me,
Which startup?
muscat, muscat glass,
Okay. Um,
muscat
I know
glasses. So
Oscar.
as as we Carol is a good friend of co-founders as well. So this Polish startup, world is quite close, quite
Yeah.
familiar to each other.
And
So I thought,
we actually have people from Muscat in our performance team.
okay, okay, that's so
Working
that's when they worked with us, they definitely gave us the spirit, the thoughts, especially in my head. The answer is somewhere there. There is a golden rule. We will solve it out. We will prepare a perfect algorithm that will answer all of the questions that we have. As I grew older and older, my life changed a little bit. More important role started playing emotions. And would you agree with such statement? Also in Displate. So the first you start with the analytics, you try to be great at performance marketing, but then as the business grows, it turns out that there are some mysteries that are answered by emotions, that you have to manage emotions within the company and the emotions that your consumers might have. That's why empathy mapping and all sorts of tools are very useful. These are where very often the even more important answers lie. Would you agree with such a statement?
We are complicated machines, aren't we?
That's exactly.
I think that marketing, like especially performance marketing, or like marketing is a growth engine. You could, you know, it could be based on performance, could be based on organic, could be based on recommendations, could be based on offline presence. You could create a different model. And I think that like during last 10 years performance, because it was cheap, there was a data pools, like easy access to data pools, and the platforms were very open and the competitions were lower, so the performance was extremely attractive growth engine, and companies that mastered it were very successful. But it's just a growth engine, so you could, if you master it, the cost of acquisition could go down by I don't know, 20%, 50%, like depends how good you're at. If you don't know how to use how to do proper marketing, the cost will go up by 20% or 50%. Depends how badly you do it. But it's something that it's you put on your baseline, and your baseline is product. So yeah, I think that initially you need to start with product, and the great product is the base for everything. The marketing could just make it smoother. You cannot very rarely, there were successful companies that created a product without good traction, marketing fit, only with good marketing. So for us, the performance and the marketing is extremely important because we are very good at this, and we could do it. We could do it in a way that our competitors cannot. But it's a baseline for a product, and our product has three pillars, and it's content. So the part coming from brands and artists, and this is a fuel. It's a physical product. It's something unique our competition cannot recreate or duplicate. And it's a platform that is generating loyalty, that's building loyalty that's higher than for our competitions. And altogether, it's the user experience. It's consistent. And users just love it. They are more loyal. The customer, the acquisition is cheaper. And on top of that, there is marketing.
You touched on the content part. Looking at it from even broader perspective, we can call it like a whole community on both sides, on the sides of the consumers, on the sides of the artists. You said in the beginning, I've written it down, 40,000 artists on board. What is the key to success here? Like how did you manage to create such a great community that keeps on growing, and actually the passion, the motivation is there, and it all makes sense, even though these are not just, but these are partners that might be from a totally different region of the world.
Okay, so I will reframe this question a little bit, because as a company, and it was always, how to say it, świadoma decyzja, this clear choice for us, that we are focused on our clients, not on our artist community. And we love our artists, we support them, but we think that if we focus on our clients, the customer base will be bigger. And because we pay commission on every purchase to artists, if we focus on our clients, we will sell more displays and artists will earn more with us. So in the end, it would this is better model for them. And so if we think about community, and we don't think about artists, so it's extremely important. We're in contact with them, we do creating tools with them. But firstly, if you would think if you ask me about community, I would never think about the business part. I would always start with the consumers part. And we have a community, actually, like Reddit community, Discord community, and growing around us. And I would also say that building community, if you want to actively build community, it is one of the hardest things you could do as a marketer. And I've seen it so many times as companies try to build communities. They create platforms, fan pages, forums. They spent millions on traffic. People came, they stopped spending millions, and the platforms immediately died. So I think you cannot build community. You could create product or implement functions and features within your products that are enhancing this community building, and people will build community around you. But we don't control our community. It would be a short it will be a suicide, because if we try to control our communities, they wouldn't be creative. And our community, they're creating comparison analysis, rankings, giving us suggestions. They're super active. They're managing secondary market, but they are not there because we invited them and pushed traffic or something, but because we created product and functions that enhance this mission. So for us, one of the biggest push for us to build a community was created a limited edition start, and people are very focused around this. And now we're supporting this community, but this community is self-governed. And there is funny thing, because I very often I contact people on Reddit, and asking what they think about the product, or just talking with them. Or I wanted to give one limited edition from my stash to one guy on Christmas, like to the most active fan. Or there was one guy who said, "Oh guys, I was trying to buy this limited edition on eBay. I got scammed," and he created a short tutorial for people how to not get scammed, like when they're buying limited editions. And I thought, this is like sweet, like how nice this guy is. He just got scammed and he's thinking about other community members. So I contacted the guy and said to him, "Hey mate, I have like the one you've been looking for in my stash. It's yours now. You're a completely lovely guy. I love it." And every time, literally every time when I contact people, even when I'm saying just, like I'm the CEO of Displate, you have free limited edition from me, or like you have something, and not possible. It's not your scammer. And one guy, I sent a photo of my ID, of course, without all the database, and photo of my ID, and he was, "No, it's a scam." And the guy who I wanted to give this limited edition for Christmas, it took me 4 weeks to convince him that I'm the real guy.
And you just wanted his address, right?
Yeah. Just wanted him address. And they're contacting like the customer support, Facebook. They're checking out WhatsApp, my LinkedIn, like everything. But they never believed. Like every time it's now you're a scammer.
I think Mateusz, it's just a great kudos to you. It's just as a society, at some step it went a little bit, I would say, wrong, but it's unusual for the CEO to talk directly to clients, to thank them for something, to give them products, and it's great kudos to you that you actually do it. I can imagine myself being on the other side and thinking, "Oh, it's not Mateusz who's contacting me. Definitely not. That's not possible." But great round of applause for such an initiative, because I agree as well that being as customer centric as it gets, and actually taking care of the people that are on the other side of their experiences, of their emotions, of becoming sort of friends with them, that's the key to building definitely a successful business.
They appreciate it.
And I also think something just came to my mind. I think that thanks to the product itself, what it's based on, very often movies, very often comics, something that people are heavily engaged in, I would bet that the numbers presenting how long does an actual consumer spend on your site just browsing through all the displays is just crazy, right? I did it myself. When I knew I wanted to display it, I knew more or less what I wanted it to look like, and I kept on browsing for something that actually would reflect what, who am I? I'm going to put it in my small flat in one of my walls. Therefore, I wanted to actually reflect what kind of a person I am.
Yeah, actually we have 4 pillars of our product strategy, and it is joyful discover, and optimizing this process is the first one. So how to make it more smooth and less traditional, maybe a little bit, recreate this moment of like not of like traditional e-commerce. I need something, I go, but kind of like old time offline bazaar when you go out and have some fun. And how to start this serendipity moment, like when you find something like unexpected but fun, but also related to you. And we are aiming to create a little bit different model, because we are not a commodity, we are a collectible. And we think that there is a little bit more e-commerce model also. And the difference between the model, we are the old traditional model, and this engaging new model, I think could be summarized in in this metaphor, that traditional e-commerce model, it's like going to Biedronka or I don't know, like supermarket or Carrefour or Żabka. I need something, I go there, let's hope it's cheap. I do it, I go out, I forget. Perfect, because I have a need, I resolve it. But no one ever said, oh, I'm bored, let's go to Żabka, or like, I'm bored, let's go to Biedronka. And the new model is more like a night market in Taipei or in Bangkok. And, a lot of people said, okay, we have 2 hours, free, maybe let's go to night market, because you might be hungry and you can eat something, but maybe you will drink something, maybe you will eat something, maybe you will find like crazy new products you never heard about, maybe there will be some show or artist, you never know. It's like everyday experience, every day is something new. And we think that this model, like we want to implement within the next 2 years, this everyday experience is more engaging. And even for all clients, if you know that you can come every 2 weeks, every 1 week, and there will be something new for you every day, like recommended content, new artist, new brand, new show, new piece of content, new memes, maybe new blog post, something that's engaging, you would like to come. That's how you build the habit of frequent visit. People won't buy Displate every month, of course. Like, we know it. But if they will be visiting the website frequently, they will buy it every 2-3 months, and that's more than enough. And that's how, like, we're also thinking about loyalty. It's very important for us. I think Steam is doing a good job in this. For us, this free, the basic elements are a little bit different than for Steam, but Steam is doing a good job. If you enter the Steam website, it's not a product catalog. It's not like Allegro, Even the search engine is not prominent. Like Allegro is like products here and there, search engine, super model, very efficient, like we all love Allegro. But no one, said, let's check what's new on Allegro. I need something, I go to Allegro, but it's not that, like, I'm just bored. But people are visiting Steam because on home, like even gamers, they don't read a lot of gamers is not reading press or like news about gaming. They're visiting Steam because on the Steam you have news, you have streams, you have reviews, you have pieces of content, you have new promos, you have recommendation streams. Like, you go to Steam every 2 weeks, and every week or every 2 weeks, it's new Steam. It's like something completely new. So people are going to Steam every now and then, like constantly, and every now and then they're buying. And every Steam user has few games that he bought or she bought and is not playing. And like I do, and the next time they will big Stomo promo, I will go there next time. I will be a few games I will never play, but it's fun. So I don't mind.
That's a great way to explain it. It's funny because I've just had a look in our comment section, and we have a comment from Adrian asking about retention, how to make sure that you're implementing right tactics, so your customers will keep returning and not turn into one-time buyers. I think we covered like 90% of this question during what you just said. So I think it's great that it went actually in that direction.
Okay, so I can add something actually here.
Sure. Please do.
I think what is helping are now, like the first thing, like here you need your analytics and your numbers right, just to measure what's working and what's not, because measuring loyalty is much harder than the first purchase. So this is like a little bit more complicated. The second thing is our product from the start is built and designed as something that's collectible and not one-time purchase. And the loyalty is starting not like with the guy who's doing mailings and CRM, but the guy who's creating the physical product, and then website, and then like marketing, and then everything else. So even the packaging is enhancing the loyalty. What helped us a lot is when we created separate loyalty team, and they are focused only on one thing, and they don't have any other goals. They don't care about the total revenue, like new time, first time buyers or anything else. They just optimize the loyalty. And we have one feature that's helping us a lot. It's DC Club. It's our internal subscription service. People are paying every month. We have almost 50,000 paying subscribers. Kind of like Allegro, maybe not Allegro. It's something between Allegro Smart and something that adds like a lot of sexy features. So, for example, one of the features is like faster access to limited editions, but also like it's like of course promos, like free delivery, etc. So this loyalty program is nice, but I think what is important here is to build a program that's not only about, okay, I need to gather some points here and there, and in a year I will have something, but from the start, it's like adding instant value for a user. So he entered the programs, and starting from there, day one, he's this package of all the benefits, like with Amazon Prime or something. It's just useful. Like it's not loyalty program. You need to buy a lot, so you receive something. But first, you receive something, and so then you buy a lot because you have all the benefits.
Mm-hmm. It's great that you shared the number, that it's actually, you said 15,000 people, right, who are in
50.
the club. 50?
50.
Wow, that's
So
it.
it would be a smart startup alone. 50,000
only
people paying every month.
only based on loyalty, and you're the one who started the loyalty team. Therefore, kudos to you that you build well fundaments in the beginning in order to push it forward. Mateusz, maybe let's flip the table a little bit and switch the topic, because there are actually at least three quite important fillers that I still would like to ask you. Let's start maybe with the most important one. So maybe your team. How do you manage? You definitely. From what I've heard, from what I've seen on LinkedIn, you've already said that having a great team on board is very crucial to you. You manage actually to encourage people that work for great tech companies, like the biggest tech companies in the world. You manage to encourage and invite them to your company, and they actually accept your offer. What would you say is, what are the main secrets behind that? So how do you manage to actually invite such fantastic teammates on board?
Okay. I think from day one in my career, I was really good with recruiting. It was my secret skill. Not something that's natural for people who are very really focused on numbers, but I just I don't know. I like people are laughing at me in the company because I have this saying. Okay, I see like I can just look at the guy CV or 5 minutes after the talk. Like I could say, dobrze mu z oczu patrzy. I don't know how to translate. He like in English it would be, oh, he has something in or her in her eyes. And 90% of the time, like this initial intuition is just good. And I love to hire smart people who are better than me. Don't have any ego issues here. And we in Displate never hired like the assholes. So that's the important part, to avoid people who are like very proficient, smart, like genius assholes, we call them. So it's just nicer environment and smoother environment for everyone. People could came here and spend a nice time, like add amazing value to the company, but also meet amazing people, maybe for their life. I don't know. I hope so.
And even sometimes run in a dinosaur suit around the corridor.
Yeah, sometimes they run in dinosaur suit.
That's the way. That's the way to do it. Fantastic. So one of the most important fillers, I think, checked on our checklist when it comes to creating a sustainable, fantastic business let's maybe touch on the other one that's a little bit more down to the ground. So let's say product market fit, let's name it that way. So I think you did great, you're doing great, focusing very heavily on the US market. This is something that like is very clear and natural to us. Like the product, the collectibles, when we think about collectibles, we very often think about the US market. But how did it grow from there? How is it is growing? What are your plans regarding the expansion? Are there any markets, maybe not a market, but maybe different niches that are showing some potential in the upcoming months, years?
Okay, let me start maybe first with a question from Marcin. When did you launch a loyalty team? At what stage? I think it was.
Thank you for that.
2 years ago, and we are just. I came to the company, and it was at start. I set this mission, like personal mission, so we would be less reliant on performance marketing. So I immediately started loyalty and organic team. Then there was this fuck up with Facebook, so it was even more important. So we are very happy that we launched it like a year ago. And it's really hyping. I think it was like the company was 6 or 7 years old. I think for different company it would be a different stage. Also, like I said, the thinking about this loyalty and being collectible, it was something that was evolving, and it was really important at even during the product design. So adding the loyalty team, they came and they already had some tools and already quite a good loyalty. And right now with them, the loyalty is just booming. We will soon be one of the leaders in industry in terms of share of returning customers and lifetime value.
And yeah, if I may add from my perspective as well, it's always important, as you've mentioned, on once again that customer-centric approach here, because first of all, not every company, not every product is, I would say, a loyalty program is not applicable in all companies. Sometimes it's just very hard to do, especially looking for frequent buyers where they purchase from your company once a year, once in 2 years. It's actually hard to creating a sustainable loyalty program there. But for many, it's optional. You just have to understand the real needs and desires of your customers, and only based on that, if you actually are close to them and understand what they need, how they might benefit from such program, then maybe you can build something around it, and that actually makes sense, that actually creates extra value for them. So if I may jump back to the expansion question, let's call it that way.
So there are a few ways. If we think about the pillars of Displate grow, it's like digital product, physical product, content, and marketing and expansion. So there are, within the next 3 years, we have been not too much, but quite a lot plans. Of course, the geo expansion is part of it. So adding next markets like Middle East, expanding in Asia. The big part for us is like content expansion. Like you mentioned the USA, but for us, we are more passion oriented or interest oriented than geo oriented, because like the average Marvel fan average Marvel fans are more similar to each other than average German citizen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier to think, oh yeah, there is like this niche and we can address this and it will be everywhere if we address this properly in every market. So we are not conquering markets, we are conquering niches. So the next step for us would be adding more sport and music. We already see that people are looking for this. We are in a very lucky positions because we see what like our users are looking for and what we don't have. So we just also a little bit of vision. Okay, they're not think about it. We need to show them that it's sexy, but also we have a lot of data about what we need to add next. And there is new physical product that's coming, and it could be really game changer. Some of the next big, unique, really amazing product, and it might we'll release it soon. So you will be the first one, David.
Oh, thank you. But
And
it's still a secret,
it's
right?
still a secret.
So I can just tell my audience we didn't talk about it previously. I know nothing more. I cannot uncover anything because I don't know what is going on Displate side. So if you want to ask Mateusz, you should go directly to him and attack him on LinkedIn and ask Mateusz what is the next fantastic physical product that is going to happen.
Okay. Yeah, and that's and few other plans related to platform. The next gen the next generation of a platform I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm. Quite a lot of projects going on. Definitely an interesting time to be CEO at Displate.
Yeah.
Mateusz, so maybe let's jump into a topic that is very hot and let's say still recent, still on top of the agenda when it comes to whatever media we browse over to. So let's talk a little bit about the NFTs. How does NFTs match what is going on in Displate? I have a quote from the former CEO of the company, so Karol, claiming that NFTs might be the ultimate opportunity. We've seen a lot of booms on NFTs. We've seen a lot of actual use cases that, in my opinion, will sustain throughout the time. We have also seen some products that were not that, I would say, socially useful. How do you see it? How does it bond with the Displate's business as usual?
So right now this Gartner hype wave crashed, like, and we went into this valley of death. But the next gen, maybe it was needed because at start there was a lot of scams, a lot of things that were just empty, buzzwords without value. But I think the next wave, like, it will be slower, but it will come. It will be much more honest and focused on providing the real utility. And people are criticizing NFT, but I think that they're missing the point a little bit. That NFT is nothing more than canvas. Like, 10,000 years ago, there was one guy in a cave, and he was spilling blood on the wall and telling every other guy, "Oh, this is the art." And then another guy came and he was carving in the stone, and he said, "No, this blood thing is too unstable. It sucks. The carving is the future." And the guy who's spilling blood said, "No, it takes too much time." And then the guy with papyrus came and told them, the papyrus is the modern thing. It's the new thing. And the guy who was carving said, no, papyrus is just, it's a little bit of water and it's like it's gone. It's never work. And this generation after generation, it was changing. Then the canvas came, then the radio, TV. That for art, there was every new technology was just a Canva. It's nothing more. And NFT is Canva for modern times, because if you think about the art market, and we're in the art market, the NFT and crypto has a lot of more utilities, but we're in the art market. What makes art is two things. Like, the one is authority. You could create probably you have a lot of paintings like from people like from 16th century, or like I don't know, like who are from collects of Leonardo da Vinci that are worth 1,000 of what he's worth, like his painting is worth, because they don't have the name. He has the authority. Like, there is, like, you could buy some piece of modern art that's just black dot on a white canvas, and it's worth $15 million because there is a story and authority of the author behind it. So there is the authority, And we have it. Like these people, these new modern people could, the online creators and designers could build their own communities and authority, but they lack one thing, and it's scarcity. If you have 100 Mona Lisas, they're not unique. If you want to create like truly masterpiece and art, you need like uniqueness and authority. And these online creators, that there was no technology that provided this scarcity. And I think like a lot of people are criticizing like the NFT and crypto, and it's easy when you're living in like Warsaw, Berlin, London, West Coast, East Coast, or something like that, because you have this reality privilege as an artist, for example. If you're a designer in Warsaw or even in Berlin, you could easily get a job. You could easily do something. You could go to gallery. You could sell it. You could earn a good money. You could have a good life as an art creator, as a designer. If you live in a Kabul, if you live in like 80% of the world, if you want to create art, you don't have opportunity to sell it. You have so your opportunities to live a good life doing what you love are so much smaller. And if you could do it online, if you could work online for companies, if you could create art online, selling it to other people, it's even if you could earn less, it could be a life changer for you. So I think there is a lot of utility coming, and also for artists and this part of the market. So the market will be slowly growing, and because we have artist community, brands, we have our clients community and first party data, and we are very proficient with physical product. We could create something unique. We could create NFT that's eco-friendly, because ours is carbon neutral, with beautiful physical token that's a physical representation, and allow these people to monetize their talent. So I think the market for NFTs will be evolving quickly right now and changing, but we have all the parts to be there.
Fantastic. A fantastic use case that you just mentioned. So I would say another perspective to the discussion. So looking at people who are not able to actually live within the art community where they are located at, that's a very interesting perspective from you, and thank you for that. I will deeply think it through, because that's not the perspective I looked at it so far. I'm very interested about which way the Gartner curve will go, like how quickly will it go, both for the NFTs and the blockchain solutions as a whole. I think that thanks to NFT, the blockchain solutions, which use cases I have number of in my head, and I strongly believe that it will be a game changer in the future, thanks to NFTs, thanks to the momentum, thanks to the hype that it got, even though there were, as we said, a lot of scams, a lot of problems going on, and the curve is a little bit going down as for now. I think that thanks to that, I would say the whole Web3 solutions will benefit from that, and we will wake up in a different world in the upcoming years. Mateusz, it was fantastic talking to you. I have actually last question that we ask all our guests, a question that like a cherry on top, a completely out of the box thinking question that I would like to ask you. If you could cast a spell that would that allowed you to provide education on a specific topic, on a specific matter, to all 12-year-olds in the world, what would it be? So actually a question regarding what do you think there is a go to, let's say, field for all the youngsters. Where should they develop?
Good question. If I could teach something or encourage people to teach something at a young age, I would encourage them to learn art or some kind of art, especially when they're young, like, I don't know, 10, 12, 15. It might be, music, might be mm, like theater, might be something creative, might be, painting, just something creative, because I think it's really opens the mind, and it's just older people who learned how to appreciate art, work a little bit differently late in their lives. They're a little bit more creative, a little bit more open, a little bit more appreciating good design. Sweden is doing good job now. They're like every kid is going through some level of like music or art education, and they're very, one of the startups hubs in Europe, like out of nowhere. And it's, life-changing a little bit, making people a little bit more optimistic.
Did you get a chance on your personal life during your personal life to touch on some artistic topics?
No, I'm a Excel guy now, but I'm bringing art into people's lives, and
Okay.
that makes me
You're
happy.
you're catching up on that thanks
Yeah,
to all the teammates that you have, and this
yeah,
is your time to focus on art. Mateusz, so we are just over an hour and 2 minutes. Perfect timing. We managed to cover many topics. It was fantastic talking to you. I have still quite a lot of questions. We don't have many brands. We don't have many, I would say, organizational cultures in Poland like yours. We are going in that direction, but what you have is really unique. Therefore, there are more and more questions that I would like to ask you. Maybe we will get a chance to talk once again, one more time, and you could introduce us even more to all the topics that are there.
okay. Thank you very much, David, for these wonderful questions. And if anyone would like to contact me or ask something, I'm on LinkedIn. Just contact me, ask. I will provide everything. Thank you very
Fantastic. Fantastic. A CEO of a company that is planning to become a unicorn, being such an open person. That's fantastic, and I'm very happy to get to know you during our disruption talks. So
much.
once again, thank you very much. Have a fantastic rest of the week. Thank you to our audience for everything that we had, for being here, and I would like to encourage you guys to come more often to our disruption talks whenever they occur, usually on Tuesdays. Keep yourself in the loop, and see you in the upcoming future. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mateusz.
Yeah. Bye
Have a
bye.
great day. Bye bye.